First contact in crisis. Commander Ava Rodriguez stared at the message scrolling across her screen at the Deep Space Listening Array in Chile, her coffee forgotten in her hand. After 15 years of scanning the stars for signs of intelligent life, she'd grown used to false positives and encrypted satellite chatter. This was different. "Jackson, are you seeing this?" She called to her senior communications officer. "Run a verification protocol." Lieutenant James Jackson's fingers flew across his console, his dark skin illuminated by the blue glow of multiple screens. "Already on it, Commander. Signals clear as day, definitely not human origin. It's being broadcast on multiple frequencies, using mathematical patterns that couldn't be natural." The message was elegant in its simplicity, a repeating sequence of prime numbers, followed by what appeared to be technical specifications and coordinates within the Kuiper Belt. But it was the urgency encoded in the transmission that made Rodriguez's heart race. "Get me Director Patil at the International Space Coalition. Now." Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed the presence of over 300 massive vessels at the edge of the solar system. Their size defied comprehension. The smallest was larger than any human-made structure in space, and the largest stretched nearly 4 kilometers from bow to stern. In the ISC's Emergency Command Center in Geneva, Director Raj Patil faced the gathered representatives of Earth's major space agencies. The room crackled with tension as holographic displays showed the alien fleet's position. "Ladies and gentlemen," Patil began, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "we're looking at a refugee fleet carrying approximately 5 million souls. Their primary systems are failing due to what they describe as quantum cascade degradation. Without assistance, they estimate complete system failure within 60 days. But their technology is centuries ahead of ours," argued the Chinese representative. "How can we possibly help?" Patil smiled. "Because sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. They've mastered quantum mechanics, yes, but they've forgotten the fundamental engineering that got us into space in the first place." He gestured to Chief Engineer Yuki Tanaka, who stepped forward with quiet confidence. "Their ships are amazing feats of engineering," she said, "but they're dying of complexity. Every system is quantum-linked, interdependent. When one fails, it cascades through the others. We might not understand their quantum drives, but we know how to keep things running with duct tape and determination if we have to." The Russian delegate leaned forward. "You're suggesting we MacGyver a solution for an alien civilization?" "Exactly," Tanaka replied. "We've kept the International Space Station running for over 50 years with repairs that would make their engineers cry. Sometimes primitive is better than perfect." The next 48 hours transformed the space industry. Every major contractor worldwide diverted resources to the rescue effort. Launch facilities worked around the clock, sending up supplies and personnel. The mission drew volunteers from every space agency, engineers, technicians, and problem solvers who understood that humanity's first contact with alien life would be defined not by words, but by actions. Commander Rodriguez found herself appointed as chief liaison, her background in communications making her the ideal bridge between species. As she boarded the first rescue vessel, she caught sight of Earth growing smaller behind them. "Nervous?" asked Tanaka, strapping into the seat beside her. Rodriguez shook her head, excited. "We've spent centuries wondering if we were alone in the universe, worried about how first contact would go. Now we know. It's not about politics or power. It's about helping those in need." The rescue ship accelerated toward the Kuiper Belt, carrying humanity's best and brightest on a mission that would either end in spectacular failure or change the course of human history. But as Rodriguez watched her team prepare their equipment, everything from sophisticated diagnostic tools to literal rolls of duct tape, she felt a surge of pride. They might not have quantum drives or faster-than-light travel, but humans had something just as valuable: the ability to find solutions where none seemed possible, to keep going when advanced technology failed, and to face the unknown with courage and determination. The alien fleet grew larger in their view screen, a city of stars drifting in the void. Humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin, not with a war or a diplomatic ceremony, but with an offer of help from one species to another. Bridge between stars. The first close-up view of the alien flagship left Yuki Tanaka speechless. Through the rescue ship's viewport, the vessel's hull seemed to shimmer with an inner light, its surface marked with intricate patterns that might have been art or advanced technology, or both. "Their material science alone is incredible," she murmured, making notes on her tablet. "The hull appears to be self-repairing, or at least it was before their systems started failing." The alien vessel's docking procedure proved surprisingly familiar. Despite their advanced technology, the laws of physics demanded certain constants. As the airlock cycled, Chief Engineer Tanaka found herself face-to-face with First Engineer Zarval, whose crystalline eyes and iridescent skin marked him as unmistakably alien. "Welcome aboard the Starweaver," he said through the translation matrix. "Though I admit to confusion about what you hope to accomplish, our quantum cascade failures are beyond even our repair capabilities." Tanaka smiled, hefting her toolkit. "Sometimes the best solutions come from starting over. Show me your engine room." The walk through the alien ship revealed both wonders and worrying signs. Holographic displays flickered uncertainly, and there was an underlying vibration that spoke of systems under strain. The crew they passed, tall, elegant beings with four-fingered hands and swept-back cranial ridges, watched the humans with a mixture of hope and skepticism. Meanwhile, in the ship's command center, Commander Rodriguez was learning just how far the aliens had fallen. "Your civilization achieved quantum engineering 5 centuries ago," she asked, studying the historical records First Commander Nensur had shared. "Yes," the alien leader replied, his tone carrying what the translation matrix interpreted as wistful pride. "We thought we had mastered the fundamental forces of the universe. Yet here we are, unable to save ourselves from a simple cascade failure." Rodriguez recognized the depression in his voice. It was the same tone she'd heard from countless mission commanders when technology failed at crucial moments. "Technology isn't everything," she said gently. "Earth's history is full of examples where simpler solutions saved the day." In the engine room, Tanaka's team was discovering just how different alien engineering could be. The quantum core pulsed with impossible energies, its containment fields already showing signs of degradation. Lieutenant Jackson, on loan from communications for his engineering expertise, whistleblow. "It's like they went straight from steam engines to quantum mechanics," he said, scanning the systems with human diagnostic tools. "They never developed the intermediate technologies we rely on." Tanaka nodded, an idea forming. "That's their weakness. And our strength. They don't have backup systems because they never needed them. Until now." She turned to Zarval. "We need to build a secondary power grid, completely isolated from your quantum systems. Basic electromagnetic generators, mechanical pumps, old school but reliable." The alien engineer's expression would have been comical if the situation weren't so serious. "You want to power a quantum-age starship with primitive generators. Just the essential systems," Tanaka explained. "Life support, basic gravity, emergency propulsion. Strip everything down to the basics. We can't fix your quantum tech, but we can keep your people alive." While the engineers debated possibilities, Rodriguez was making a different kind of breakthrough. She'd noticed the alien crew's children watching the humans with fascination, particularly drawn to the patches and pins on their uniforms. "These represent our different space agencies," she explained to a group of young aliens. "See, each symbol tells a story about Earth's journey to the stars." One child, braver than the others, stepped forward. "But you still use chemical rockets. How did you ever reach space?" Rodriguez smiled. "One step at a time. We didn't wait for perfect technology. We used what we had, learned from every failure, and kept pushing forward." The conversation was interrupted by an alarm that needed no translation. 3 more ships in the fleet had lost primary power. Nensur's command center erupted into activity. "We're losing containment on the quantum cores," Zarval reported, his calm demeanor cracking. If they fail completely. They won't, Tanaka cut in. She turned to Rodriguez. Commander, we need every generator and power cell we brought. And I mean everything. From the emergency backup units to the portable fusion reactors. Rodriguez was already moving. Done. What's the plan? We're going to build the biggest jury-rigged power system in human history, Tanaka said, her eyes bright with determination. It won't be pretty, but it'll work. Lieutenant Jackson, start calculating power requirements for minimal life support. Zarval, we need your team to help us understand how to interface our technology with yours. The alien engineer hesitated only a moment before nodding. I still think this is impossible, but we're out of alternatives. What do you need? As the team scrambled to action, Rodriguez caught Tanaka's eye. Both women recognized the magnitude of what they were attempting, not just saving lives, but building a bridge between two very different approaches to science and survival. Remember the ISS blackout of 31? Rodriguez asked. Tanaka grinned. When we kept 6 astronauts alive for a month with solar panels and backup batteries. This is a bit bigger, but the principle's the same. She patted her toolkit. Good thing I brought extra duct tape. Above them, through the viewport, Earth shone like a beacon of hope. Humanity's first major test as a spacefaring civilization was just beginning, and failure wasn't an option. Race against time. The next 72 hours aboard the Starweaver became a blur of constant activity. Emergency lights cast long shadows through the corridors as human and alien crews worked side by side, racing against failing systems and physics itself. Power grids at 30% capacity. Lieutenant Jackson called out from his makeshift control station, a hybrid of human laptops and alien holographic displays. We're losing containment on decks 12 through 15. Tanaka emerged from a maintenance shaft, her uniform stained with coolant and sweat. Reroute emergency power through the new conduits. Zarval, how's the interface holding between our generators and your life support? The alien engineer's fingers danced across floating screens of light. The connection is stable, but inefficient. We're losing nearly 40% of power in the conversion process. Inefficient is better than dead, Tanaka muttered, pulling up schematics. Commander Rodriguez, what's the status of the other ships? Rodriguez's voice crackled through the comm system. Teams are deployed to 23 vessels now. The Australian contingent just reported success on the Victory's Pride. They got basic life support running on mechanical backup. But for every victory, new challenges emerged. The quantum cascade failure was spreading faster than predicted, jumping from ship to ship like a technological virus. In the Starweaver's medical bay, Dr. Kenzo Yamamoto made a disturbing discovery: the radiation signature from the failing quantum cores. He explained to the gathered human and alien leaders, it's not just affecting your technology. Extended exposure could pose a risk to organic life. First Commander Nensur's crystalline eyes darkened. How long? At current rates. Yamamoto consulted his data. 2 weeks before we see serious health effects, less for the young and elderly. The news hit like a physical blow. Their timeline, already tight, had just been cut in half. Rodriguez watched the alien commander absorb this information, seeing the weight of responsibility settle deeper onto his shoulders. We need to evacuate the most vulnerable ships first, she suggested. Move those populations to vessels where we've established stable backup systems. The logistics of moving hundreds of thousands of people between ships, Nensur began, will be complicated, Rodriguez finished, but not impossible. Humans have experience with large-scale evacuations. Meanwhile, in the engine room, Tanaka's team had made a breakthrough. Look at this, she called to Zarval, pointing to a series of readings. The quantum cascade creates a unique energy signature before each failure. If we can detect it early enough, we could evacuate sections before critical failure. Zarval finished, his tone carrying newfound respect. perhaps even isolate affected systems before the cascade spreads. The discovery sparked a new round of intense activity. Human diagnostic equipment, originally designed for much simpler systems, was modified to detect quantum irregularities. Alien crew members taught humans their emergency protocols, while humans shared their experience in crisis management. In the midst of this controlled chaos, unexpected bonds formed. Lieutenant Jackson found himself teaching young alien engineers about the history of human spaceflight, using stories of Apollo 13 and early Mars missions to illustrate the importance of redundancy and improvisation. Your species repeatedly survived situations that should have been fatal, one of the alien engineers observed. How? Jackson smiled, remembering his grandfather's stories of the early space program. Because we never had the luxury of perfect technology. Every mission was a fight against Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So we learned to plan for failure, to have backups for our backups. The evacuation began as more ships reported critical failures. The sight of massive transfer vessels, originally designed for cargo, moving between the larger ships became common. Human-designed mechanical systems were installed on the designated safe haven vessels first, creating stable refuges for the most vulnerable. Rodriguez found herself coordinating this massive undertaking from the Starweaver's command center, now transformed into an emergency operations hub. Screens showed the status of each ship, with red warnings slowly being replaced by yellow cautions as backup systems came online. "We've moved 60,000 people in the last 6 hours," she reported to Director Paddle during their daily update. "The aliens' teleportation technology is still working on most ships, which helps, but we're running out of safe spaces." "What about the power conversion problem?" Patil asked. "Tanaka thinks she's found a solution," Rodriguez replied, allowing herself a small smile. "Something about using the quantum field itself to boost our generator efficiency. I don't understand the physics, but she and Zarval haven't slept in 2 days working on it." In the engine room, that solution was taking shape. Tanaka and Zarval had discovered that the failing quantum cores still maintained certain stable harmonics. By synchronizing their generators to these frequencies, they could dramatically improve power transfer. "It's like surfing a wave," Tanaka explained to her team. "We can't control the quantum field, but we can ride it. Jackson, start recalibrating the primary generators. We're going to need every watt of power we can squeeze out of them." As she watched humans and aliens working together, Rodriguez reflected on how far they'd come in such a short time. What had started as a desperate rescue mission had evolved into something more. A partnership between two civilizations, each learning from the other's strengths. But time was still running out. The radiation levels continued to rise, and not every ship could be saved. Hard decisions would need to be made, and soon. The real test of this newfound partnership was yet to come. The impossible solution. "The quantum cascade is accelerating exponentially." Zarval's announcement silenced the crowded command center. "At current rates, we have less than 72 hours before total systemic failure." Tanaka studied the holographic models floating above the conference table, her expression grim. The streams of data told a clear story. Their patchwork solutions were failing faster than they could implement them. "What about the evacuations?" Rodriguez asked, though she already knew the answer. "Even with maximum efficiency, we can only move about 30% of the remaining population to stable ships in time," Lieutenant Jackson reported. "We're running out of safe havens." First Commander Nenser's voice carried the weight of millions of lives. "Then we must face the possibility that not all can be saved." The silence that followed was deafening. Then Tanaka suddenly straightened, her eyes fixed on a particular data stream. "Wait, we've been thinking about this wrong. We're trying to fight the quantum cascade, but what if we could use it instead?" She quickly explained her theory. The cascade effect wasn't just destroying their systems, it was releasing enormous amounts of energy in the process. If they could somehow harness that energy. "You want to surf an atomic tsunami?" Jackson asked incredulously. More like redirect it, Tanaka replied. Zarval, your quantum cores are all linked, right? That's why the failure spread so quickly. The alien engineer's eyes widened as he followed her reasoning. Yes, through quantum entanglement. But that link is exactly what's killing us. Or it could save us. Tanaka pulled up new simulations. If we could synchronize all the failing cores, time their collapse precisely, we could create a massive power surge. Enough to temporarily power every ship in the fleet. Long enough to execute an emergency mass teleport. Zarval finished, excitement bleeding through his usual calm. But the timing would have to be perfect. Microseconds off, and we all die, Rodriguez concluded. Even if it works, we'd be destroying the quantum cores completely. Your ships would never use quantum power again. Nensur studied the humans intently. You would risk everything on such a desperate gamble. Sometimes the best solutions are the crazy ones, Rodriguez replied with a slight smile. But we'll need everyone's help. Every ship, every crew member, working in perfect coordination. The next 48 hours transformed the fleet into a hive of focused activity. Human generators were modified to handle the predicted power surge. Alien teleportation systems were recalibrated for simultaneous mass transport. Every available power conduit was pressed into service. Dr. Yamamoto worked with alien medical teams to prepare for potential casualties. If the radiation spike is higher than predicted, we'll need to be ready, he warned. The plan was simultaneously simple and insanely complex. They would deliberately trigger a synchronized collapse of all failing quantum cores, channeling the released energy through human-designed power grids. This would provide a brief window, perhaps only seconds, of massive power output. During that window, the entire population of the failing ships would be teleported to the stable vessels and Earth's rescue ships, which had been retrofitted with alien teleportation receivers. Like a massive cosmic jump rope, Jackson explained to his team. We all have to jump at exactly the right moment. Lieutenant Ishikawa, normally quiet, spoke up from his station. If the calculations are off by even a fraction, then we join the cosmos in a very spectacular way, Jackson finished. But hey, no pressure. As the deadline approached, Rodriguez found herself in a quiet moment with Nensur, both watching the endless stars through the viewport. Your species continues to surprise us, the alien commander said softly. When we sent that distress signal, we expected at best some technical advice. Instead, you've shown us that sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from working with limitations rather than transcending them. Rodriguez thought about humanity's long journey to the stars, every hard-learned lesson, every near disaster that led to new protocols and backups. We learned early that space doesn't care about your technology level, she replied. It tries to kill you just the same. The only way to survive is to be more stubborn than the void. The final hours ticked down. Every ship reported ready. Earth's space agencies held their breath. In the Starweaver's engine room, Tanaka and Zarval made their final checks. Ready to make history, she asked her alien counterpart. Zarval's expression was unreadable. Ready to trust in human insanity. The countdown began. Legacy of Two Worlds. The universe, Tanaka decided, had a sense of irony. Humanity's greatest technological achievement would come from deliberately causing the biggest technological failure in history. Quantum cascade initiation in 3 minutes, Jackson announced, his voice steady despite the tension. Throughout the fleet, similar countdowns echoed in multiple languages. Rodriguez watched from the command center as status indicators shifted from green to yellow. All ships report evacuation positions maintained. Medical teams standing by. The plan had required redistributing the fleet's entire population. Millions of beings now stood in precise locations, waiting for the moment when ancient technology and human improvisation would either save them or destroy them completely. 2 minutes. Nensur's voice carried across all channels. Whatever happens, know that you have shown us the true meaning of courage, not in having the best technology, but in facing the impossible with determination. 1 minute. In the engine room, Tanaka and Zarval worked in perfect synchronization, their movements a dance of human intuition and alien precision. The quantum cores hummed with increasing intensity. 30 seconds. Throughout the fleet, human generators spun up to maximum power, ready to channel the coming surge. The very fabric of space seemed to hold its breath. 10 seconds. Rodriguez gripped her console. All ships prepare for power surge. Medical teams, stand ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The universe exploded. The synchronized collapse of hundreds of quantum cores released energy equivalent to a small star. For a fraction of a second, the human power grids glowed with impossible power. The fleet blazed brighter than a supernova. And in that moment of brilliant chaos, 5 million beings teleported simultaneously. The light faded, static-filled communication channels. For one terrible moment, silence reigned. Then, one by one, ships began reporting in. Victory's Pride reporting. Population transfer complete. Stellar dawn here. All accounted for. Earth Rescue Fleet confirms successful receipt of transferred personnel. The cheers that erupted across the fleet drowned out further reports. Human and alien crew members embraced, boundaries of species forgotten in the joy of survival. Final casualty count, 0. Against all odds, they had done it. Hours later, as emergency teams worked to stabilize the rescued ships with permanent human-designed power systems, Rodriguez found herself in a historic meeting. Earth's leaders had made contact, eager to begin formal diplomatic relations with their new alien allies. "We would be honored to learn from Earth," Nen Sur announced. "Our civilization gained much from mastering quantum mechanics, but we lost something too. The innovation that comes from overcoming limitations." Director Petal smiled. "And we look forward to learning from you. Perhaps together we can find a balance between advanced technology and fundamental engineering." The agreement that followed would change both civilizations forever. Earth gained access to alien quantum theory, while the aliens learned the value of human-style redundancy and practical engineering. In the years that followed, the story of the Great Rescue became legend on both worlds. Museums would display the jury-rigged power systems alongside ancient quantum cores, a testament to the day when two civilizations saved each other, one with advanced science, the other with duct tape and determination. Tanaka kept a small piece of alien hull material, its surface still bearing the marks of human tools. She would show it to her students at the new Joint Species Engineering Academy, a reminder that the best solutions often came from combining the wisdom of different worlds. The aliens never rebuilt their quantum cores exactly as they had been. Instead, they worked with human engineers to create hybrid systems that incorporated both species' philosophies. The result was technology that was both more advanced and more reliable than either civilization had achieved alone. And somewhere in the vast archives of both Earth and the alien fleet, a simple message was preserved, the first contact that had started it all. A reminder that in the darkest moments, help could come from the most unexpected places, and that the greatest strength lay not in perfect technology, but in the willingness to extend a helping hand across the stars. As humanity looked to the future, they carried a new understanding, that their greatest contribution to the galaxy might not be technological advancement, but the simple, stubborn determination to never give up, no matter the odds. The stars had never seemed brighter.